And we are back. Episode 6 of What Barrie's Talking About from Barrie 360. I'm Dan Blakely. What could be better than being a kid in a candy store? Owning one, maybe? There's one for sale. We'll tell you where. We get up close and personal with Danny Wagner, drummer for the band Greta Van Fleet. And a local group answered the call for help when volunteers collecting relief items for Ukraine needed storage space. It also came up with some living space for Ukrainian refugees in the Barrie area. But first, nominations have closed. The lineup card has been made up for the fall municipal election. 7 people are vying for mayor of Barrie. There will be brand new councillors in 4 of the city's wards, with 2 current councillors wanting to become mayor and 2 deciding not to seek re-election. Natalie Harris announced that decision many weeks ago. Keenan Aylwin late last week publishing on social media the reasons why he's not running for a second term, expressing a level of frustration at how municipal politics is played, and making note of an old boys club. Barrie 360's Ian McLennan reached out to Aylwin for further explanation.
You know, some councillors decide they're not going to run, they exit, go quietly into the sunset. Not going to say that about you with the note that you left to the people that you represent. So why the note and why the exit?
For myself personally, I need to take a step back right now to focus on healing and reconnecting with my community. I felt like a lot of people, I lost that over the past couple of years during the pandemic. I felt very isolated and disconnected from my community. And to do this type of work, it's not easy work. So you have to be well enough and healthy enough to do it. So that's why I'm personally taking a step back. But I would also say we need more democracy in all areas of our lives. The workplace is one place where I think people could do a lot of work to organize with their coworkers, build democratic structures within their workplace through unions and collective bargaining, and build a collective power to change the world. I think politicians like to sell the idea that the only way to make change is to mark your X on a ballot every 4 years, and then you go home and don't think about it for another 4 years. But that only advantages the people who are already in power, and the people disproportionate power through their wealth and privilege. But I think we need to realize that we have power outside of elections if we band together and organize.
Now, municipal politics is said to be more grassroots compared to the provincial or federal level, and just wondering if you found it that way.
In some ways, yes. You're closest to the ground. You have the closest connection to your immediate community. Just the nature of the ward that you represent being smaller numbers than, say, the amount of people that an MP or member of parliament or member of provincial parliament would represent, helps you feel more connected to that community. But I think we, as a country, need to have a serious discussion about the powers that municipalities and municipal governments have and don't have. We have a lot of responsibility as cities in this country, but not so much legislative power or spending power. And I think that is a detriment to all of our communities. So we're seeing finger pointing from all levels of government where no one's really taking responsibility for the biggest challenges that we face. We need all levels of government to step up to the plate and do what they can, but we're not seeing that action, and that's where everyday people come in. We need to band together and push politicians to take the action that we so desperately need.
You know, you wanted some cohesiveness and working together around the council table, but, to be fair, you've had your knuckles rapped, too, by the Integrity Commissioner regarding a Facebook post that was directed at a pair of Conservative MPs, John Broussard and Alex Nuttall. You've had your knuckles rapped over a reference to an arrest by Barrie police that the police chief actually called you out on, saying it showed an insensitivity towards victims of crime. So, do you share some of that blame in terms of, the sort of finger pointing and internal fighting and things like that?
Look, I believe there is a way that we can disagree with each other vehemently, call powerful people out, call powerful systems out, while still maintaining our shared humanity. I think we don't focus enough on the disrespect and the damage that is done by these harmful systems. And we tend to focus on maybe politeness a bit too much over truth-telling and honesty. And I'm not afraid to tell the truth about the oppression that we're seeing in our world and the lack of action that we're seeing from people in power.
So what's happening? What's happening at City Hall then? Because you made a point in your letter very bluntly, and I'm quoting here, "I can tell you the Old Boys Club is alive and well in Barrie." What did you mean by that?
There is a relatively small group of people, mostly men, who have a disproportionate amount of wealth and power in the city, and so they have a disproportionate amount of influence over politics. When I first was deciding whether to run municipally or not, I had a prominent business owner approach me and try to convince me to run in a ward that I didn't live in, that I had no connection to, because they already had their man in Ward 2. And he promised me a fully funded campaign if I ran in a different ward. And it's that type of thing that goes on behind the scenes that I don't think most people are aware of, that I would call the Old Boys Club.
Now, are you saying that there are some at City Council that have been bought out by the Old Boys Club?
I would say there are absolutely city councilors and politicians in the city who are maybe not in politics for the right reasons, are maybe hoarding power and not fighting for the best interests of all people in this city.
Okay, did you make any difference or maybe headway in what you wanted to do when you came to City Hall 4 years ago?
Some days I feel like maybe I didn't make as much of a difference as I had hoped. And then other days I can see the difference that I've made. But I never did any of it alone. I always had a community backing me, and I couldn't have done it without people in the community and their support. And I think that's the important thing to remember, is that we can only accomplish justice when we work together and build collective power. No one can do it alone. And I hope that that message resonates with people, and I think it is.
Barrie 360's Ian McLennan in conversation with outgoing Barrie City Councillor Keenan Aylwin. Michigan rock band Greta Van Fleet played Toronto this past weekend. Rachel Detta, one of our contributors from Rock 95, had a chance to speak via Zoom with drummer Danny Wagner about his dreams, desires, and a certain photo posted to social media.
I want to start with the picture you posted yesterday. I want to call it an ode to Canada and to Tommy. Where'd that come from? You're like half nude on your Instagram.
Well, some things just cannot be explained. Some things, touring in general just kind of brings out the best in all of us. And we are advocates of freedom and, within reason, within legal reason. And I don't know. I really have no idea. It was one of those that was taken and posted in a matter of a minute. So there was not really a whole lot of thought behind it other than I want to.
And I love the rhinestones that you've been putting on recently. Is there an inspiration for that, or is that just a style choice? And are you gluing them to your face yourself?
Oh, those are all very great questions. Well, I just kind of figured as our music and album cycles and our world is evolving, I kind of wanted to continue that trend personally and explore a little bit more. I felt like I had been just stuck in this very simple little mold of long hair and rock and roll, and I wanted to just express myself a little bit more. And Josh looked wonderful in them, so he kind of did it first. I would have to give him some credit for that. And makeup stuff I can handle my own, but when it comes to rhinestones, I do not have a very steady hand, so I do get some help with that.
I love hearing the answer to this one. From out of all your shows, is there like something a fan's done in the audience or has created an experience for you that will like always stick with you, and maybe it's the first thing to come to mind that's like, yeah, this one fan did this one thing and I love it, and you pretty much tell the story all the time?
Well, it's kind of funny. I've really made a conscious effort to try to notice more when on stage, and I'm such a victim of falling into this unconscious sort of realm when I'm playing, which is great because I'm in my own little world and it's beyond focus and anything. You're just kind of there. It becomes second nature. So there's a lot that goes out in the crowd that I missed. Josh and everyone's talking after the show about things that had happened, and I kind of went, oh, I missed it. But I'll tell you what, when people are singing along to the song, especially the new songs that haven't even been out for that long or haven't been toured on for that long, and when they sing so loud that it actually, hinders my ability to hear the rest of the band, that is super special, because then the audience is a part of the band. And every time that happens, I'm definitely struck.
Did little Danny or teenage Danny ever dream that would happen for you?
Absolutely not. He hoped, I guess, but he never imagined it actually becoming a reality.
Oh man, I can only imagine, this must be a dream for you just from beginning to where you are now. Because guys have made such a name for yourselves around the world, and you guys are a regular request on our station, which is absolutely awesome. Now, I got 2 more things I want to do. First things first is we have an unofficial send-off to summer where we list the top 500 rock songs of all time. Now, I'm putting you on the spot. Can you maybe name 2 or 3?
Yeah, I can surely dig up some. One, All Along the Watchtower, Jimi Hendrix. It's probably my favorite rock and roll song of all time. Let's go with Won't Get Fooled Again by The Who.
Oh, iconic. If you want, we can just go straight to this fun little game that, as a drummer, I think you would appreciate just a little bit.
Yeah, I love games.
It's a little bit of a this or that, but we're going to use the Woodstocks as an example. So if you love the idea of it, Woodstock 69, or you could just say 69. If you don't like it, it kind of isn't your jam, seems a little chaotic, just say 99 or Woodstock 99. Are you ready?
I think so.
Okay, a song with heavy double kick. I mean, it's in every corner of that song.
Oh, goodness. I would have to say that's probably 99.
There you go. How about some slick stick tricks?
Ooh. I'm gonna go with 69.
Ooh, why 69 on the stick tricks?
Because there were a lot of amazing flashy acts that went on during the middle of the night, like Sly and the Family Stone, and then there was also Hendrix and Santana, and they all have very iconic drummers. So that's why I said that one.
And how about some impromptu fills?
Impromptu? How impromptu? They didn't even know they were doing it? 69.
Yeah, and maybe you shouldn't be playing right now impromptu fill. You're I got a great idea for this.
Yeah, maybe they don't even know they're there consciously. 69.
There you go. How about playing on the offbeat?
Ooh. Oh, wow, that's a tough one. Let's also go 69. Things are a lot more experimental.
Yeah, and either you can be intentional, it sound great, or if it's an accident, it still might sound great.
Yeah, exactly. No one knew the difference.
And last thing, how about a halftime breakdown?
Ooh. Gosh, again, I'm gonna go 69 just because there was so much jamming and so much impromptu. The whole thing was just impromptu in general. The whole idea of the festival.
Thank you so very much for your time.
Wonderful. Thank you, Rachel.
Rock 95 personality Rachel Detta catching up with Greta Van Fleet drummer Danny Wagner. Still to come, some added help for Ukrainian refugees in Barrie and a trip to the candy shop. Now this.
This is your cool concert listing.
Hey there, it's Amy with this week's cool concert listings. Saturday, August 27th, the Budweiser stage welcomes Blue Rodeo with special guest Sarah Harmer. Ice Cube hits the Casino-Rama stage September 2nd. Sam Roberts will arrive at the Kita Bala for 2 nights, starting September 3rd and the 4th. Boy George and the Culture Club comes to Casino-Rama Resort September 3rd. Scotiabank Arena welcomes Post Malone and the 12 Carat Tour September 20th. The Weekend After Hours Till Dawn Tour comes to the Rogers Center for the rescheduled date of September 22nd. This has been your cool concert listings. For details and for ticket information, head on over to 1075coolfm.com.
Stay up to date at 1075coolfm.com.
This is what Barrie's talking about from Barrie 360. I'm Dan Blakely. A tough go for sure for Ukrainian refugees who have come to the Barrie area. Tough too for the volunteers trying to help them when they lost their storage space for items being collected for Ukrainians settling here and those in need in the homeland. Barrie 360 put out a call for help, and the IOOF stepped up, not just with storage space, but also some living space for our newcomers. Here again, Barrie 360's Ian McLennan with IOOF Seniors Home CEO Gary Hopkins.
Now, how did you become involved in offering 10 apartments to Ukrainian refugees? You did mention that one of your colleagues approached you after seeing an article on Barrie360.com?
I got in touch with the person that you mentioned in the article, that was mentioned in the article, Janie Harris. She's working a lot with the Ukrainian folks here in Barrie. She has some background that's Ukrainian. It goes back several generations. So I emailed Janie and said, you know what, I saw your ad that was given to me by one of my nursing directors, my nursing consultant. And I said, look, we have space, and here's what it is. And she said, well, can we come and look at the space? And this will lead you to the apartments. So originally it was the space that they needed to sort their things, storage and that kind of thing. So Janie came with a lady, Oksana. They're working with several Ukrainians here. And so Janie came over to look at the space that we had that we could give them for their sorting. What I would call it the original, what DON was using. So they came and looked at it, and let me just tell you, if been somebody on site to see this, I was moved to see the reaction of the Ukrainian woman. Her daughter has just had to leave Ukraine with her 3 children. The husband is still in Ukraine. And to see the reaction, the emotional reaction when they saw this space, and that I was prepared to offer this to them at no cost. So we talked about what the space could be used for, and then I said, do you have any need for some transitional housing that you could use? I can make something available until March the 31st, 2023. And they were shocked. And so the original conversation was about the space for sorting, storage, etc. The conversation then, I was the one who brought up to them that I had these apartments that I would be more than willing to make available to this group that works with Janie and these and some, I call it a local Ukrainian association.
And when will these apartments be available?
These apartments are going to be available immediately.
What is the takeaway, I guess, from IOOF in terms of giving back to these people who've had to flee their homeland and flee a war?
Oh my gosh! Let me just tell you that I spoke after this was an operational decision, but I wanted to make sure our board of directors were aware, and I talked with the board chair, and the board chair thought it was the best. It was amazing. He was just moved that I had come up with this thought that we could assist our Ukrainian friends who've been displaced because of these atrocities that have happened to them. And so, actually every day I feel so good. When I talk about what we're going to assist them to do, it makes me feel really, really good. I've spent my entire life working what I call displaced and disenfranchised people. Long before I came to the IOF, I've been here for 7 years.
And what you're doing reflects the vision or mission statement of the IOF?
Absolutely. We are reflecting. We are absolutely reflecting. Now, it goes aside what our mission is in terms it's for seniors, but we're making this exception because we believe this is a humanitarian thing to do. It's a humanitarian deed, and so we feel quite proud and happy about it.
Gary Hopkins is CEO of IOOF Seniors Homes. A popular stop on Highway 11 on the way home from the cottage, perhaps because it helps keep the kids quiet for the rest of the drive home, perhaps because you can buy almost every kind of candy imaginable, but maybe not for long. Rita Robinson and her husband Dean are selling the business. Barrie360's MJ paid them a visit to find out what's involved in running a candy store and, well, more importantly, satisfying her sweet tooth.
Sort of, I guess, a little bit bittersweet is like you're going to be selling the business after how many years?
We've been in business for 23 years. I've worked every single weekend for 23 years. It's time to take back some family time, do some things for my own life. I also turned 65 like 6 months ago, so it's time to retire. And it's been a lot of fun for the last 23 years. Kind of hard to stop doing something that's this successful. And a lot of people go like, the place is jammed with people on weekends. We're sort of at the top of everything, but we have no kids and we have no family that wants to take the business over. So We've been looking for somebody to take over and buy it probably since last January, maybe a year even before that.
Obviously, it's a lot of hard work and a lot to think of. But for you, what are some of the great benefits? I mean, you're literally working in a candy store. I mean, you just like smile when you say candy. You just say that to anybody. What are sort of sell me on like buying a candy shop? How awesome is it?
Well, the biggest thing is you're not selling anything to people that they don't want. So you're not forcing them to buy anything. You're not trying to make a sale. You're not trying to convince them to buy something. They're in here. They can make up their own minds, and they do. And they're always smiling. They're always happy. The colors outside, I think, are totally anti-grump colors. Grumpy people don't make it past the colors outside and the signage. Grumpy people don't usually want to be cheered up anyway. But, so people walk in. They anticipate kind of leaving all their troubles at the door, coming in and having a good time. It's a great place for people to spend time with kids and talk about their old candies, from a long time ago, and relive a lot of memories. They see things in candy that they haven't seen since they were little. And the look on their face, that pretty well pays for all the pain, And I know right now it's like, I think Facebook, we've got something like 5,000 posts on Facebook, talking about their experiences at the candy shop. And that was last week. I haven't even checked now. And just wishing us well in our retirement. But everybody understands, yes, we've worked hard. Yes, we've done a darn good job of doing this. And they're all hoping that somebody will take over and somebody will run with it and still bring candy in this location. Because they're all intending to be customers and loyal customers to whoever takes over. And, you can set your own hours. You do have to be here on weekends. You do have to be here on long weekends. That's when the traffic is going. We have a lot of customers that go up to the cottage every week or every 2 weeks, or then we get the people that are traveling back and forth that are visiting friends or family elsewhere, or they're traveling in, on planes or whatever and going to Toronto or to concerts or to big events, So those people stop on the way down and on the way back. We also have the people that just come through once a year that might travel all the way from BC to visit family here, annually. And they're always saying, I'll see you next year. I'll see you next year. So after a while, you get to know an awful lot of people.
Do you get a lot of comments of like people coming in and noticing lots of candy I haven't thought of since I was a kid? It'll be like, oh, I remember this.
Yeah, a lot of people say, man, that makes me feel old. I'd forgotten about this.
Sure. Now, like, silly question, but I'm wondering, like, how do you avoid eating the profits? I guess this place is delicious. Or is it kind of like working in a chocolate factory? You just forget about it after a while?
No, I eat it when I need an energy boost, when I've been running my tail off and hadn't really stopped for lunch, When I get home, I know exactly what I wanted to bring home, and I always forget to bring it home. My husband, I think he eats all the profits. He's a complete chocoholic, I'll tell you. I've never seen anybody with a tolerance for chocolate like that before. And he's curious. He always wants to try everything. So lately he's been like opening a chocolate bar and giving everybody who's working a piece to try, which is perfect because then you don't have to eat the whole bar. So it's been kind of fun. And we've brought all these weird soda pops in. Like we've got one called Rocket Piss that actually glows in the dark. Well, I don't know how it glows in the dark. But
to find out.
Or worm ooze or whatever. There's some really weird soda pops that we found, and we brought them in from the States just for fun. And we had banana soda and pear soda, and blood orange soda. And a lot of different root beers and a lot of different soda pops. Things from Japan as well. So there's been quite an experimental time where he opens something and he pours us all a little try of something, But the biggest market for us has been anything new, anything weird, anything bizarre. And we've got some great suppliers that are always bringing in something that's just cutting edge, So, I think we have maybe, 8 different flavors of Kit Kat, And there's always, different Oreo cookies coming out. Like last year was Lady Gaga, and I think we had, carrot cake ones, and we've had some really strange product come through. Mind you, it's a one-shot deal. It comes in, it sells through, and I can't get it again. Got Fruity Pebbles syrup for your pancakes right now.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody does the same look on your face. It's they go, what? What would I use this for? They consider it and they go, yeah, I think I could do this.
Think about it.
Think about it for a minute. So People love it because they come in and there's something new all the time.
Yeah.
You know?
And even if they don't love it, it was something that they tried and it was just fun to experience, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
If someone is interested, how can they get in contact? Just call you directly? Or?
Call the store.
Okay.
You know, call the store.
Rita Robinson of the Candy Shop, soon to be retiring her sweet tooth. If you're interested in developing one of your own, call Rita at 705-325-8334. She'd be happy to take the wrap off the candy business for you. So, a sweet finish to this week's edition of What Barrie's Talking About. Thanks to MJ, Ian, and Rachel for their contributions, and to Matt Ladder for his technical prowess. If you like what you heard, please subscribe to What Barrie's Talking About, rate it, review it. You can also keep up with What Barrie's Talking About on Facebook and Twitter at Barrie360 and on our website, Barrie360.com. I'm Dan Blakely. We're back again next week. Hope you'll join us again.